should try to overcome, the national difficulties. We cannot do it alone. We are a financial institution.
Hi everyone, my name is Miguel Magalhães. I am the head of content and partnerships at the Next Big Idea, and now we have one more conversation in partnership with the IEF. And with me, I have Gelsomina Vigliotti, the VP at the European Investment Bank. Gelsomina, thank you very much for joining us. And my first question with you, we have been receiving a lot of people from the IEF, and now I have one of the main responsibles from the IEB. And so I wanted to learn a little bit on how the group is working with companies in general terms and how they can interact with the bank.
No, thank you very much for inviting me and having this opportunity to talk about what the EIB Group can do for companies. Actually, as you were saying before, you met the European Investment Fund, and European Investment Fund is a branch of the European Investment Bank Group. And why we have these two? I mean, the mothers and the branch, because the IF is dedicated to financing SMEs, and is a joint initiative with the European Commission and the EIB, and also the participation of some financial institutions. And it's more devoted to provide finance through to the SMEs through guarantees or through investing in funds. I mean, we do not have the EIF hasn't the ability to reach all the SMEs and all the startups that need resources. So what they do is to invest in funds, venture capital funds, private equity funds, so that finance can arrive to the companies that so we enter into a dialogue with the funds to see how our respective priorities can match, and so that we can provide resources where it's needed. While at the EIB Group, we are more, it's a classical bank. We provide lending. But we provide lending, according to the specific features of each company. If it's a large company, we go with a direct loan. If it's a startup, we have it's a very good instrument, which is the venture debt. What a venture debt is? A venture debt, we call it as a passion capital. We meet companies, startup, who haven't the collateral to go a bank, because very often their main asset is intellectual, is intangible. So we bet on this startup, on their ability to grow and to make profit and to contribute to the public goods of the European Union. And so we provide them, it's what we call this passion capital, which is a quasi-equity. It's a lending which will be reimbursed when the companies will have the opportunity to make profit and to pay back the lending that they had. And this is a very powerful instrument. We were able since 2016 to provide almost 7 billion to these companies in Europe, and actually so far we are financing 300 of these startups, and that's very good.
And
That
just
also
yesterday we had here one of the companies supported by the IEB, Stark Future, the mobility company, and they precisely said that they enjoyed and they thanked the support that the bank was.
absolutely, because it's we accompany their growth, and actually the venture debt is dedicated to when the companies have already concluded the first round of raising capital. But we have also specific instruments for the seed capital, for the very initial phase of a company, and that we do it accompanying the European Commission, the European Innovation Council, that provide grants and equity for the very start of this company. What we do in that case is to do the due diligence for the EU Commission, and to decide and accompany the companies which have been considered eligible for getting these resources. And actually, in the end, through the within the group, the EIB and EIF, we have all the instruments which accompany the life cycle of a company, since the very start to the very end, when they will be ready to go to the market with their legs.
When we are at Web Summit, and one of the main focus is, of course, in the startup and scale-up scene. As a member of the IEB, what are the main challenges that you see that a lot of these companies are facing? And you already gave some examples, but what can be actually some of the solutions that the group
Yes.
and the IEB can give them to resolve
Absolutely,
those challenges?
absolutely. Actually, our experience is that, and we do it, and actually, we have evidence for the market because we produce also a lot of surveys to understand where the needs are and what are the constraints that this company meet. Actually, I think that one of the major constraint is in the access to finance. As I said before, very often, it's this company they rely on intangible assets, something which cannot be provided to a bank for getting resources. And we have to say more generally that in Europe, one of the big issues is that the lack of a true capital market, and that's why, for instance, there is this strong political impetus to work towards what the Rapporto Letta called the savings and investment union, and not only as a market, a capital market union, because actually, with reference to other differently from other part of the world, what we lack is a direct access to capitals, and very often we have to go through the banking system, and not always the banking system is able to provide the finance, the tailored finance that are necessary in the different stages of the company. And that's why what we provide is this form of lending through the venture debt. Or we provide through the EIF, we invest in funds and they will venture capital fund, then they invest in companies. And our role as a public institution is also to create a sort of ecosystem, to develop a system where companies can get access to finance through the different stages of their life. And that's why we try to build in all the countries, because, I mean, we are a European institution. And actually, the situation in the European countries is different. We have
Yeah.
countries where as capital markets are more developed, where there are already a presence of big realities of venture capitalists or private equities companies, while in other countries where there is a need also of a public institution that can help to develop and maybe to provide the right funding to funds and or the right finance to companies. So this is a diversified landscape, and we try to cope with all the different realities. But I would say that in the end, our objective is also to contribute to the creation of a true European market. So we should try to overcome, the national difficulties. We cannot do it alone. We are a financial institution. We rely also very much on the regulatory instruments, and which will be taken to realize this union. And we are ready to contribute also by developing, instruments which can offer at a large scale and within the continent all the finance which is necessary.
When we were talking about the landscape, we already discussed some of the instruments. We discussed how the IB can work with different regions. Yes, in terms of industries, what do you feel are the ones that the IB is giving some priority and that in the end can help the IB precisely create this stronger
Yeah,
ecosystem, positioning Europe as a leader in some of these sectors?
absolutely. We know that now the big challenge for Europe is to cope with technology, with innovation, and also to continue standing behind our ambition to be, it's a climate-friendly continent. So our goal in this moment is to invest even more on deep tech, on the space. We know that the space economy is becoming one of the relevant industry sector where we have to advance, and also to create all and to nurture all the innovation which is necessary to upscale our ability to compete with other part of the world, because what we need is also to achieve, its strategic autonomy that make us less dependent from the advancement in other parts of the world. And obviously, what we believe that it's very important is to continue to invest in research and development, which can help the transition, the climatic transition. I mean, to make it the more faster as possible, since we know that the challenge ahead are very important, and we like to call ourselves the climate bank, and so also in the sector of the green tech, the deep tech, to develop all those sectors which can improve, it's the much more use of renewable energy, but also to save energy. Actually, what we see is that there are many initiatives that help to reduce the absorption on energy, and in this regard, we are very ready and supportive to provide our effort. We are a policy-driven institution. We follow the policies set at the European Union level, and we know that as a green and digital are the two main drivers of the future growth, and we want to nurture this system. And we see a lot of opportunities in Europe, and we need to support those systems.
When you are developing these instruments and analyzing these industries and analyzing policies, you always need to have a long-term perspective on the impact they can have on our market and on the people that are on it. What would be some of the trends that, if you had to look into the next decade, you would say that by in 10 years' time, it would be very good if Europe was able to achieve these things?
Definitely, I would say that artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, space economy, again, green tech are the sectors where we believe that it's important to investing to be on the frontier of technology, and there are a lot of potential to be exploited. At the same time, I always like to remember, recall that one of the issue of which Europe should be very proud is also of its social system and the welfare system that we have, and also within the social economy. I think that there are sectors where we can implement innovation, where we can provide and support citizens, people, also to be up to the challenges. Because actually, one of the issues that we see is that there is also a mismatch between the skills which are necessary to cope with this new landscape. And what we need is also to invest in education, and also to support those people which can have a negative effect of this transition. So in this regard, I think that also developing programs and initiative to support people to upskill their potential, it's very important.
Gelsomina, thank you very much for
It's a
joining us
pleasure.
today.